in DataCamp for a little bit, I just wanted to bring it back to your own machines because there's a bit of a disconnect between working in online systems and learning different libraries and actually having it set up and running your own projects. So this is going to show you using Visual Code. I know a lot of you using PyCharm, and Danny will support that, but I just wanted to give you an indication of Microsoft Visual Code because it's nice and free and it's quite easy to install a lot of the packages which you'll be using. So the first package, if you select on the extensions on the left, is the Python package, which you can install, and that allows you to do a lot of things, but it also includes your Jupyter notebooks. And the other one is Anaconda, which again holds a lot of the things which we're going to be using for data science and machine learning. Once you do have those installed, if you press Command-Shift-P, the first thing you need to do is to select your interpreter. And you want to make sure that you select the interpreter which has Anaconda. This ensures that you're selecting the correct packages. And then I'm going to create a new Jupyter notebook. So again, Command-Shift-P, and I'm going to select Create New Jupyter Notebook. If it's not appearing here straight away, you can type in the search bar and it will find it for you. Okay, so I have my new Jupyter notebook that is currently loading up. Okay, and now it's loaded. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is to save this, and I want to save this in the same directory which I have my data. I have made data available for you in Schoology, so I'm just going to call this test number 2 because it's not the first time I've run through this test. Okay, and making sure that it's in the same directory as my data because we're going to import this data in a little bit. Okay, so from here I then want to import the correct libraries. So the first library we're going to import is Pandas, which you should be familiar with by now. And then we're going to import NumPy, which will do our data manipulation. Oops. Just keep your finger on that escape button for that autocomplete. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to read in some data. So read CSV. Okay, and again, this relates to making sure that I have this inside the same directory. So when I run this, hopefully, if I click on my data cell, I can now see that I have my data. I've got 133 cells. 1,309 cells. Okay, so I know that this is working correctly. Okay, the next section we're going to go down to is to do a little bit of data manipulation. So from here we can go get our data. We're going to replace some of our data. I'm going to look at the question mark. And then in place, we're going to replace this with boolean value. If you're not familiar with these, it's fine. I'm just showing you a little bit of how we can use these Jupyter notebooks for the manipulation of our data. And it works quite nice that I can have the separation of my code. I'm just going to change the data type of the age and the fair. So we're currently working with data on survivors from the Titanic, which is a free data set that I found. Okay, again, we can run this. Cool, no errors. The final thing we're going to do is to display this data. So let's import C1. You might not have done any matplotlib, but you certainly will later on. I'm going to copy this code in just because it's a lot of code and I don't want you to watch me type. But basically what we're doing is creating the different figures, and we're doing different types of plots. So we do a violin plot, point-to-point plot. And these will take a little bit to load. But hopefully once they do, we're going to have some nice visualization. They appeared and then they disappeared. Okay, and there we go. So we have all of our data, we've imported it, we've manipulated it a little bit, and then we've displayed it in some nice little plots. So that just gives you a little bit of idea of how we can use Jupyter notebooks within Visual Code.